Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. As you talk to me like the first time. I feel joy, I feel pain, I feel the same. When the night is long, I'll be alone.
DJ Sequence.
In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. As you talk to me like the first two. I feel joy, I feel pain, I feel the same. When the night is gone, I'll be alone. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. As you talk to me like the first time. I feel joy, I feel pain, I feel the same. When the night is long, I'll be alone.
Look around and see the beauty of the sky. Here for you and me, a wonderful life. Look around and see the beauty of the sky. Here for you and me, a wonderful life. No need to run and hide. It's a wonderful, wonderful life. No need to laugh and cry. It's a wonderful, wonderful life. Here I go.
Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone doing? Oh, we've got quite an active chat today. Woo! Cathal 4, hello. Offer S or O for S. Oh, I don't want to butcher your name, sorry. J Stocker, Danny, I think. MMP, T Raw, Rodney, let's go. Charles, hello, sir. Best music in crypto from heavy metal. Cheers, mate. Freddie, good morning. Just call me Offer. Offer. Offer? How you doing, mate? Bubba Trading? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Elko, hello, hello. We got an active chat today. Excellent, excellent. It's nice because we were actually seeing a bit of relief in the markets, which we'll come on to in a sec. I mean, it's been a good couple of days, if you want to pronounce it. Cheers, mate. Hello, Lucifer. Must be a terrible times for crypto firms at the moment, having to rely on the minority of actual traders instead of all that free, easy money from the dumb trials. Yeah. Although, if you'd seen my trading yesterday, it was just loss. It was like, brilliant. All right. let's see how much I can give back to the market in a single day. But we are we are back to break even after today. 2 days of solid trading to come out where I was when I started the week. But que sera, sometimes it do be like that. It's still very much a trader's market, in my opinion, and that brings me nicely onto Breakout Prop, who are the sponsors of the stream. If you've used Breakout Prop before, then, well, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it is in front of you. You can buy evaluations. You can get funded with up to $200,000, actually, for a one-off assessment fee. And, yeah. You literally just have to pass the assessment and then start trading and start making money and then cash it out. With the code. Still need to sign up to Paragon with the code. Oh, I thought you were talking about Breakout. Yeah, I mean, there's discounts on Paragon as well at the moment. I think we're probably going to end them tomorrow. Maybe later. I don't know. I need to actually speak to Megas and Doc. But yeah, if you are equally interested in Black Friday discounts, then go check that out as well. But yeah. Check out my partners Breakout Prop. They are insane. We'll come back to them at the end of the stream. And yeah, let's jump into some market action because we've actually had some today, which has been really nice. I've seen some requests in the chat already for like Uni, Useless, and a few other coins. We'll come on to those. Useless is absolutely ripping. And I'm going to start off with this actually because one of the things that I've talked about on stream for a long time is I really want to see this rotation back to like risk, and you know, is this a dead cat bounce and all that kind of stuff? Don't know is the honest answer. It looks like it, right? You load up a chart like Useless or something like that, and it looks like a dead cat bounce, right? Because it's down so fucking much and it is like literally in max pain. But you know, that doesn't mean that we won't get a good couple of days of risk on rotations out of it. Love how Asta decoupled from the market. Bitcoin goes down. Or Bitcoin goes up, Asta goes down, Bitcoin goes down, Asta goes up. Fantastic rotations between Asta and Bitcoin, yeah. I've actually been long Asta since this morning, which has done alright. But yeah, it's I was kind of really bullish on it and I didn't just want to buy spot. So yeah, I kind of fuddled myself out of that a little bit. But my point is that for risk on rotations, you know, seeing stuff like Useless and SPX, but actually like be like top contenders, it's actually quite promising for like short-term relief in the market in general. And we'll come on to their like individual PA. I think Useless is probably my favorite of the memes at the minute, but that's just because if you look at the chart, it's been absolutely fucking battered. And like everyone quote unquote hates Bonk Guy. Like I don't think they do hate Bonk Guy, right? I think everyone's just like, you got liquidated and now you're sending this to, you know, infinity to try and recover your gains. But I was quite bullish on it up here. I was long it in here at some point, but it was one of the fastest to return back to its 1010 highs, and it, you know, broke former highs. It literally made new highs. It was one of the fastest coins to make new all-time highs after 1010. So I was pretty bullish on it, right? So it was pretty reasonable. You know, it's not stupid to think that one of the best recovering alts is going to continue with that. And then now we are, you know, nearly 75%, I think, down from those highs. Yeah, it's a pretty brutal pullback, isn't it? Pretty brutal. Also, we'll have a good take on XRP. Yeah, well, we can go on to XRP, mate. But yeah, I mean, apart from the fact that it's really illiquid, which is both good and bad from the perspective of I can't really size up on it particularly, it's been pretty clean in terms of like levels and ranges and all that kind of stuff on an intraday basis. And I have traded it, but not with massive size, I'm not going to lie, because if you clip 100k out of it, you will watch yourself print a candle, which is less than ideal. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, like these kind of structures in terms of like just range plays, big sell-offs, and then into strong moves with relative strength, which this whole thing has been, just kind of screams like expansive move to me, do you know what I mean? And it's really got to come up to like 0.14-ish before it starts hitting major like previous support. So I still think there's a bit of room to go in this. Now, obviously, really hard to join the trend now, right? I mean, the consolidations here were kind of where you join and jump into fresh positions. Like this here, really difficult to join, I think, because it's, this is one of my worst kind of trading styles. Trying to join a trend that is like in progress from a like literal vertical accumulation perspective, it's just really, I find it really difficult because here, like, where's my invalidation? Is it the last low? Is it something like this? If I do this now, it probably works out right, but there's not really much in terms of like support with this level. This is a 3-minute chart. It's pretty bleak. I mean, if this works out, it'll be a miracle, right? It's nothing to do with anything other than the fact that it is probably quite strong on relative strength. Yeah, there you go. Probably you apes, isn't it? Buying a breakout account and then going and smashing useless. No, I'm joking. I don't actually think useless is one of the coins you can trade on breakout, to be honest. But yeah, it's very strong. SPX very strong. It's nice to see a bit of meme risk. It's nice to see people buying utter dog shit, quite frankly, and Zach not running. So, in terms of fresh positions, like I wouldn't particularly want to position at these like local highs, right? That's just me. I don't think that it's going to be particularly productive to do so as a, completely like fresh entry. But having them on your radar for next rotations, definitely. Like, for me, it's a case of, well, what do I want to position in? What do I want to look at from a rotational perspective? And like memes are kind of back on the menu, I would suggest, if we can get some pullbacks into decent levels, if we can get a bit of consolidation. I've missed out on this rotation, absolutely fine. But yeah, risk back on in the market as we pumped from 91k or whatever it was yesterday, yeah. I honestly thought that Bitcoin was going to look like piss today, and that little deviation down there was going to be, send it back to the gulag. But obviously we had a nice bit of chop, and then we've sent since. But yeah, it's just nice to see a bit of risk on memes and not just Zach, right? Gone for Fartcoin instead of useless. So I think one of the reasons that I didn't go for Fartcoin is that like useless just has such better beta. Like if you look at Fartcoin on this, it's in here somewhere. Wow, that's ETH. Fuck me. Fartcoin really is dead. Look, Fartcoin's here. That's Fartcoin. Fartcoin is worse performing than Bitcoin. So why would you take like the downside of alts, which is they are generally illiquid, they can move very quickly against you, and you can literally just say, oh, here's a minus 5% candle like instantly, when you could just trade Bitcoin and get better results. It's got liquidity, it's not gonna really catch you offside too often. At least not to the extent that an altcoin will, in terms of like a 10% candle either way, and particularly this day and age as we're in like TradFi era. But yeah, I think Fartcoin, and I think we talked about this last week on stream. For me, there's this big bounce opportunity across a lot of memes and a lot of dogshit tokens that look like this. Because quite frankly, like, when we start getting bounces, people get fucking greedy. People get greedy. That, turns into green P&L cards. People flex in. People get more greedy. Like, the fear and greed cycles, I think, will always be here. So there will always be a market to trade. So when people sort of say, oh, Charlie, is it over for crypto? I'm like, as long as people are greedy, at some point, we will have rotations and we will have some new innovative projects. And whether they are new and innovative or not, who really knows? But they might have a new and innovative narrative, at least. And if they do have that, then, we should get a decent rotation. Avicii being a good example of like a new, quote-unquote, neobank and all that kind of stuff. On-chain GM that ran really hard that I completely faded. But, yeah. Do I think Fartcoin as a, like, top cycle performer? Is going to be a top cycle performer again? No, absolutely not. I think the kind of novelty of Fartcoin wore off way after this, and this is, a this is cycle 1, this is cycle 2. If we get cycle 3, it's probably going to be something like this, right? And the same happened with things like Whiff, with things like Popcat and all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean that we won't get a nice rotation on it at some point, right? And that's why I use Spaghetti to kind of go, well, okay, I'm at this point, we're down like 90% from the highs or something. I'm going to choose to be a little bit optimistic. Yeah, 86% down at that low. And say, okay, well, if we can get a rotation out of it, right, we can get some good money on this. But it's just not really showing much strength at the minute. Even this, right? Even this, it looks quite nice just from a structure perspective because you've got, it's essentially where Useless was. But if you compare this to Useless, right? Like compare that, that's the consolidation, that's the range. We've had a bit of bullish price action. How has it responded? It's barely broken out. Compare that to Useless. What's Useless done? Consolidated, broken out, retested, and started sending. Yeah? Like, it's absolutely, gone. Like, if that's the equivalent range, we had a decent breakout as well. It's not, it looks a bit small, but even if you're long in that, it's a good few percent rotation. So yeah, not a major fan of Fartcoin. I think for me, it's just focus on outperformers because there's so much shit in this market now. The market is so saturated in terms of altcoins, so saturated in terms of what is trying to take your precious liquidity. There's so much on this list. How do you possibly determine what you should be longing and what you should be shorting and where you should be positioning, and to me it just goes back to Spaghetti, but anyway, that's enough of a Spaghetti shill. But yeah, Useless I think it runs to at least like 0.14. I think it just keeps going, to be honest. I think it's got a nice rotation on it. Sometimes you've got to take a step back and listen to what people talk about. I'm hearing people talk about investing, trading in Useless and Fartcoin. It really gives you perspectives. Yeah, it does. I am not investing in these, to be clear. I am trading rotations. I am just literally going, okay, there seems to be some volatility, there seems to be some relative strength. If I smash some money in here, like now as it breaks out of a range, do I think that that's a reasonable case for continuation? And will I be able to close this in a short period of time, an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours sort of time, and sell it for more? That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to just extract some value from these wonderful movements. And the answer might be no. It was yesterday. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I'm not looking to deploy mass amounts of spot at any levels on any coins at this moment in time, right? And that's a question I get a lot. Like, when are you going to buy? When are you going to buy Bitcoin? When's a good level to buy? And I'm like, It's kind of like I've got a decent long-term bag of Bitcoin, right? And if Bitcoin hits $1 million tomorrow, assuming $1 million isn't like a loaf of bread, then I'll probably just sell it all and be done. But for now, like in terms of levels on Bitcoin, I don't think I've got a levels chart anymore. I've just got meme charts. See, look, it's over touch grass. This was unironically like where I thought we'd wick to, like somewhere down here, in the kind of 80, 83s area. And the logic for that is really simple. You've got this, previous consolidation down here. I don't know why that's not aligned, but okay, we'll roll with it. Got this previous consolidation down here, and what I was thinking is we'll tag this essentially, and we'll come down here. That'll be capitulation, and then we'll run it back up turbo. And no more confluence than just a simple stupid idea. But yeah, as soon as we lost that 110k level, it's just not been as easy mode to trade. So yeah, we've talked about it pretty much on stream every single week. I've still been long. I've still maintained a long bias. I've been pretty much relentlessly long in the market, even though it's probably been easier to short. Caught a few nice things like ZEC. I did actually get stopped on a ZEC trade yesterday, which was this. So I'll just show it as it was. So this was. We had this consolidation. Obviously, it turns out to be distribution. We talked about like double top and all this kind of stuff. And we actually had this, pretty poor structure heading into the lows. So a series of lower highs and then the big sell-off. But then we actually started coming back and running it back up. And that candle was really, really strong in terms of relative strength. So I thought, actually, this is a good rotation in terms of relative strength. I'm going to play this and assume that this is just a deviation, right? Not completely unreasonable, given the fact that it's been super strong. Anyone who wanted to short it or sell it has actually had a long time in this consolidation up here, and it was not to be. Obviously, it sold off, and we gave some money back to the market, which happens. Today, on the other hand, we get a really nice rotation on it, breaking that downtrend. Looks like we're going to reclaim it again. Do I want a long here? No. Several reasons. Firstly, my invalidation is probably, if you were judging by the same logic of here as your last low, it's down here really, which makes the trade pretty fucking piss poor from an RR perspective. If I really wanted to go aggressive, I could, from a consolidation of this and like maybe literally that, but it just doesn't look great. Just doesn't look great from like this structure. It just looks a little bit late to join this trend, right? So I'm not interested in it right at this moment in time. If we can push above and reclaim, then great. Love to see it. Let's go. But I mean, I've killed Zek a few times, like trading it on the long side, even though the market's been pretty piss poor in general, and even on the short side up here, right? Short it from here and sold it in here somewhere. So yeah, Zek's been really good to trade. And like, you look at this volatility, right? Like, this is like 2 weeks of vol. It's pretty mental. If you can trade, and if you can capture volatility, and if you can manage your risk, then you're probably really enjoying these conditions. If you are, like Lucifer said, buying and investing in, quote unquote, fart coin useless and all that kind of stuff, you're going to get fucked. This is like a trader's market, and it is a trader's gift of a market. I was talking about this in the group actually in Paragon, and saying that there were times, in a 3-week period, 4-week period maybe, where I didn't have anything. I couldn't trade. There was just nothing. There were no signals. There was no real movement. Everything was just kind of doing this very slowly. 0.5% rotations. Like, you barely scrape anything out after fees, even if you catch a tiny bit of it. It's just, yeah, pathetic. Whereas this is goated, man. This is so good conditions. But anyway, 54%, down 26%, up 20%. Yeah, I mean, Zek's still on my radar, right? I'd love to see this. I'd love to see a little bit of consolidation at this like 655 level, and we go again. It hasn't been particularly strong at the start of the rotation, but it is now. So yeah, it feels very late to be longing it in terms of this specific rotation, but yeah, we'll see if that changes. Maybank on rotating non-stop between Bitcoin and Asta. The inverse correlation has been amazing past 2 days. Yeah, so I longed Asta this morning, literally something like this. It actually doesn't look too bad for a continuation long if we can start pushing above. And by continuation long, what I mean is I want to see it break out a little bit. My invalidation is then under here, and the next leg is pretty much the start of this. So we've talked about this before, like run it up, consolidate it, run it up again. Yeah, classic like giraffe pattern. That's what I'd like to see if I wasn't in an Asta position, to kind of run it up to new highs. I do think it looks very good from like a high time frame perspective. It's just whether the rest of the market can kind of sustain it. We've broken out of this massive consolidation down here. I think the narrative's good. I think the revenue that it generates is insane. I think that it won't take much for CZ and Co to come out and say, yep, we're just going to buy like, I don't know, 100 million of Asta straight off the market. And then you'll watch this candle just rip. We've had this thesis on Twitter for a little while now. I think it's a really good coin. As soon as it started showing relative strength, I was interested, but I was a bit late on this rotation because it was Sunday and I wasn't like at the desk. And then when this happened again, I was asleep, but wasn't afraid to enter in reasonably high because I think it was going a lot higher. And you look at this structure, right? You look at the structure. I'll zoom in a little bit for the blind homies. Look at this range. Look, deviation, reclaim the range, consolidation above or at the top of the range, and a strong breakout as we go. What will be the matic of the upcoming bear market according to you? Ooh, what you mean the coin that's just gonna like basically throw itself into the ground? It's a good question. So I think in general that there'll be a shift towards revenue generation projects, right? So stuff like Asta, stuff like Pump, stuff like Hype, I think all of those will be like relative outperformers. So I don't think it'll be any of those. I mean, I think Zek has the potential to be, just because it's ran up so much, right? Because if you think about the original Matic run, was it 2019? Sorry, not 2009. Fuck me, it was done before before this shit happened. The original Matic run, it was just this staircase up, wasn't it? It was absolutely hilarious, and everyone was like, "Wow, this is easy as fuck to trade." And then it was like the turkeys at Thanksgiving, and it just went like that. It's one of the greatest fucking charts of all time. Yeah, it was insane. I think it's difficult to kind of. I'm not too aware of any other charts that have the potential to do that, other than Zek, really. And it's not that I think Zek is bad. I think Zek is good. I think Zcash is, Bitcoin private essentially, and yeah, there's a lot of smart people who see that. But obviously fundamentals and price are two different things, yeah. And we can talk about that when it comes to like the whole uni announcement and how I round tripped a massive fucking bag of uni. But yeah, I think I'd have to just say Zcash, just purely because of where it is. Like, I think that XO has been shorting this really, really well. I got one good short on it, partly thanks to him, because I was like, I was like, look, it's our favorite setup. He's like, are you gonna do it? I'm like, nah, probably not, because I've got no balls. But yeah, he bullied me into it, so that was good. We printed using that in 2021, but anyway, that's another story. Yeah, I just think Zcash is probably the one that's run up, and then we just see it like absolutely kill itself if we go full bear mode. But obviously if we go full bear mode, everything fucking dies. And to be honest, it's like stuff like this, just goes like this, has a nice little dead cat bounce, and then it'll just like the volatility will be so boring, it will just literally die. It will become nothing, and then you finally get to like lower prices where actually the movement down here is like one candle, which everyone goes, what the fuck is that? I need to zoom in for the blind homies. It's actually like a 20% move. Becomes like really, really good, even though the chart looks fucking dog shit. But yeah, I'd have to say Zcash just because of where it is. I don't think that's based on fundamentals though. I think like all memes will just get fucked. It doesn't matter what meme you are, whether you're SPX, whether you're Burt, whether you're useless, it doesn't matter, right? They're all gonna get fucked. Yeah, I think useless looks like one of the more compelling ones short term though. Pretty fucking strong. And Zek might even just rip above, just to prove me wrong. If you had to enter Asta now, what would you do? You're already in. So if I had to enter Asta now, I would be looking at this range breakout, which is what I kind of just went through, which is this little consolidation here. We've already had a deviation to the upside, so we've had that test to break out. We've established a pretty clear range. Now I'm just waiting for it to show some strength and go for another run and a breakout. Simple as that. Like, could happen now. But I don't want to just ape in consolidation, because there's no reason to participate for me. Unless I'm massively fundamentally bullish on the project, and I just want to own some, and I want to sit here and wait for a long time. That's not how I trade though, right? That's not how I pick these rotations. It has to start, and then I don't mind jumping in. I jumped in here for fuck's sake. It was already up. It's already up like nearly 12% on the day when I bought. So I'm buying higher. How's Avicii? Avicii's good, I think. I don't have a bag, so I'm not gonna shill it. But yeah, I think it's pretty decent. So yeah, I mean, I've got fucking no idea next on Bitcoin, boys. Just gonna put it out there. Got absolutely no clue. Absolutely no clue. Normally I have a massive like directional bias. I talked about before the fact that we are, in a downtrending environment, and actually, this kind of mass acceleration into a low kind of makes me think that, okay, that downtrend potentially, and a good relief bounce off the back of that downtrend is potentially coming to an end. But obviously from a structure perspective, can't see any of that yet. Need to see a reclaim, need to see something to kind of point me in the direction that actually, yeah, this is potentially the end. But where we go from here, God knows. I don't want to take a fresh Bitcoin position. I don't want to short. It's far too late to be shorting, in my opinion. The best shorts have kind of already been had, and there may still be another massive leg down. You can probably still print money, shorting some alts and doing all that kind of wonderful stuff. So if you want to go and short, feel fucking free. Please don't let me, influenza you or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, we're already down quite astronomically from the highs, and just because it's down nearly 30% doesn't mean it can't go down another 90%. Don't get me wrong, but I think structurally we are definitely closer to a bottom than we are a top, and that might be my famous last words, right? We might just bump up and then sell off and die, but that's what my gut's telling me. And note the words, that's what my gut is telling me, not my system or anything like that, because frankly, there's no real levels, there's no, decent divergences, there's no, that's fucking janky as shit. There's nothing systematically actionable from what I can see, from what I normally use. So in and out, dirty or cheap hooker style with alt rotations has to be the way. And we just have to keep monitoring what's strong. Yesterday, I was looking at Filecoin and stuff like that, played Filecoin, and then ZEC ran, and then along ZEC, and then Filecoin ran, and it was just, a day of bad rotations on my part. And I did take an Asta long actually, and that didn't work out either. So that was literally 0-3 yesterday. But, like I said, some days it's like that. Where is it? Yeah, so I was looking at this and going Christ, if this was an absolute beast. Shame I haven't got the original long on here. In one of the Paragon streams, I literally we caught the breakout of this massive range, and I was like, yeah, boys, this is it. Literally something like that. And my stop was here. My stop was literally the Pico top. And it was just bang, pure autism trade. But then look, we've been literally down only since then. And this is a similar kind of rounding bottom pattern to Asta, I think. I just don't think that this has got the minerals, shall we say, to pull off an Asta style run, because there's not as much going for Filecoin, obviously, Filecoin, as there is for Asta. But yeah, there was a nice little rotation on this yesterday, which was here. I think I longed in here. And, maybe I'm getting my timings wrong. Maybe I longed in here or something. And that reclaim. And then sold it as we came back. And then it ran again. And I was in ZEC at that point. That sounds more likely. STRK. Let's have a peep. I haven't played STRK at all. Again, it's a lot of these coins that just fucking, they look absolutely horrific on high time frame. But if you catch someone relative strengths and nice breakouts, then they can be really good, right? I mean, from a continuation perspective, it's nice, but I don't know how the fuck I'd enter this, That's a nice breakout retest. Now we've sold off massively, consolidation, breakout there was the only trade that I would have ever thought about taking, probably. But yeah, how you play this now, basically a range reclaim, and if it holds and you've got a stop under here, then Gucci, you've caught a nice rotation. If not, then it's probably just dead. I've got no interest in trying to time anything outside of spaghetti, to be honest. 90 people watching and 18 likes. Oh, nice. So we've got 72 rude people. How rude. How rude. But yeah, look. So this is probably a really nice short on Zcash, actually, because we've got essentially a lot of weakness across these highs into resistance. So, you know, whenever I'm doing this, I'll likely clip in a bit, like now, and then leave the rest of it, yeah? So, got essentially strong run, smashes into resistance, starting to break down, not really going particularly well. Let's see what it's doing on a relative strength basis, but on a low time frame. Not a lot, really. Market's not really doing a lot. Selling off very slowly, but no major outliers. Useless being a bit shit. Forgot to smash light. Consider it smashed. Entry stop loss, like right away. Yeah, sure. Let's find something. What I normally do when we do the Paragon streams, though, we usually end up longing or shorting something. Just trying to like look for a decent rotation. There's not really. It's hard because if everything's just basically flat, there's not really, or it's like a liquid garbage like this. The only reason I had this on my spaghetti actually is because we had a really good setup on it from a high time frame structure perspective. Let's go to it. Let's go to it. Must still have it. No, maybe not. Yeah, it was this. Right. So I basically called it and said this is going to be the next scam. And obviously I put a ridiculous target on it because it would have been hilarious if it hit. And it was here. And it did actually run like 85% in like a couple of hours. Because it was the same structure as like MYX and stuff, which was just, you know, a series of high lows on some random dogshit garbage that no one's ever fucking heard of. Like classic Binance scam pump recipe. And then now, yeah, we're down here at the lows, but do I really want to long this illiquid bundled piece of garbage shit? Nah, not really. Especially not as it's failing to break out of a range high. Not for me, not now. Watching on 2 accounts, that's 2 likes, thanks. What about Zen? Yeah, I've seen a lot of people chill Zen. I don't know how it's a Zek beta play, but whatever, it does appear to be going like up and to the right, so again, it's like, how do you enter this? Like, it's my worst kind of setup in terms of PA, right? I'm terrible at joining trends like that are, you know, halfway through, unless they consolidate and give me a decent reason to join them. But it doesn't look bad, right? And equally, you know, do you want to join this now here? Like previous support, essentially? Is that where you want to go in? Like for me, fuck no, that is like literally that is resistance. You know, previous support, now resistance. Yeah, well, if you can flip that, then yeah, maybe you get a trade out of it. But nothing for now. You know, if you've rode that rotation up from here, it's not a bad place to take some profit. Do you know what I mean? Wait, did you catch the scam pump? Yeah, I did. Did you miss my macro outlook? Not really. I didn't really do one. I will. I'll cover off some macro stuff, I guess. People are dumb when they think the 2 tickers are related. Yeah, looking for a short actually or a flip. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, like if I look at this, like you can see momentum is dwindling, like on the RSI. You know, do I really want to short this? Like one of the strongest contenders? Maybe. You've got actually the confluence of like these wicks and stuff. This is not a strong divergence in the sense of, you know, what I normally like to see is like this is just running up. what you want to see is a strong, you want to see a strong sort of spike up like that, or a triple divergence, triple spike up, and you want to see something like that. So either 2 or the 3. And this is obviously very, very different structurally. It's got a strong run up here, and then it comes back, resets, i.e. the trend kind of goes back to 50 as you've got this consolidation, and then it's run again. So there's not really much to do from a divergence perspective, and from momentum, it's probably one of the better performers. You know, pure price action, it's okay for a short in terms of something like this, but it's pretty fucking aggressive. You know, I've got no reason to short this necessarily. To insane cloud posse, internet computer protocol. Yeah, so I've talked about this a few times before, evidently, as annotated on said screen. You know, absolutely fucking ridiculous move, like all of these things. Again, to me, all I see is big range. So, big range. We literally blasted through it before on ridiculous run of old dead dino coins. We've retested that range low. You know, do we hit the range highs? Maybe. I never diddle in the middle of ranges. That is just like literally where you go to piss money away if you want to do that. If you want to do that, you know, do something different. Treat yourself to a breakout account. Treat yourself to a Paragon membership. Do something useful with the money. Don't just buy in the middle of ranges. That is literally, I think, the dumbest thing you could possibly do. But if you've made a living out of trading the middle of ranges, then fair play to you. You are literally a fucking gladiator of the arena. Yeah. So for me, it's just like that. There's really not a lot to do. Again, like really simple thought process on these. Like when you've got like these massive downtrends that are being broken on like some form of relative strength with like a range reclaim setup, you can really justify like jumping into a rotation. And obviously that would have been quite good, and that's the benefit of hindsight. Yeah, great, Charlie. That's really good. But the reason I'm saying this is that there are lots of other charts that look like shit, look like this, and you can literally draw meme diagonals, you can draw a bit of support resistance on it, and you can say, well, actually, if I start seeing this, and I start seeing some relative strength, you know, I can justify quite quickly getting on board that and playing a rotation. And if you can catch these kind of things, then yeah, it's, what's that? Probably about 10, or nearly 20%. Not saying you're going to sell the highs, obviously, but yeah. I mean, structurally, it looks a lot better now than it did before, right? In terms of big sell-off, strong move, establish new structure if this prints a high low, and actually you can start thinking about doing something like that if you really want to build a position, or if we consolidate here, playing a breakout. But there's nothing here for me yet. You're welcome, Bubba Trading. Paper demo account is up 12.5x from Feb. Yeah, I can't keep a funded prop account to save my life. Well, is it because there's a big psychological difference between paper trading and real trading, right? Even if the real trading isn't necessarily your money, it's still your performance. It's still, I could turn this into, you know, $50,000 tomorrow. You know, there are some big payouts on Breakout prop. I think like last month, the top one was like 120k or something. Don't quote me on that, but it was a good number for a month's work. So yeah, if you're like faced with that kind of prospect and you go, well, actually, I do really care about this now. Whereas your paper trading one, you're probably just like, oh, I'm testing out a theory, testing out a strategy. You know, there's no real impact if you fuck it up, or if you get it right. You get it right, you go, oh, this is cool. Maybe I should have actually traded that. Will you give away Paragon memberships today? Oh yeah, I started to do some giveaways, didn't I? I will do a breakout evaluation, and yeah, fuck it, why not? Just don't tell the guys. How can I do it though? I haven't really thought this through, have I? Ooh, this is awkward. I wish I was more prepared now. I know what I'll do. Here we go. Right, let's do this. What I'll do is I will do a Google form, and you can just stick your name if you're watching in the Google form, and what's your X handle? I will just do that, and then we'll bosh it in there. So I'll stick it in the chat. All you got to do is go on it, stick your X handle on there, and that's it. And then I'll do another stream where I'm not scamoozing you. I think this works. Let me just check it works. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Yeah, bosh. There you go. So it's in the chat as we speak. Or more accurately, as I'm speaking at you. Cool. There we go. So yeah, just you can just do things. Yeah, exactly. Just do it. Let's go. Yeah, I've got some TradingView accounts to give away actually as well. So I got loads of stuff. We'll do a. I might even do. I've been toying around with like a December of giving, and I said I'd do it last year, and then I couldn't be asked. But what I want to do is I get all these offers for like sponsorships and partnerships and all this kind of stuff, and I say no to 99.9% of them. So I'm in an absolutely privileged position. I do not take it for granted, so please don't think I do. It is incredible to have, thought that an introverted accountant like myself, who doesn't, particularly like talking to people, has got over 100,000 followers somehow on social media and streams every now and again, and yeah, does all this. It's wild to think, and can get paid for it in various different guises, right? But I could accept some of those that are for legitimate projects, top 200 or something, and just give it away and just go, here you go, boys. I'll talk about X protocol or whatever the fuck it is twice, put hashtag ad in it or some shit, and then just give people the dollar. Be careful from scams from literal. Be careful from sponsorships from literal scam businesses. Yeah. I mean, that's why I don't take every fucking deal I'm offered. You look at some of the fucking shit garbage on the timeline. It is unbelievable. It is like, oh, I think you should long XRP here. Oh, and here's a fucking bundled shitcoin that's at $20 million because the team bundled the supply. Like, nice. Well done, lads. But yeah. Someone asked for XRP earlier, actually. So let's go for XRP. I think structurally XRP has held up really well, considering. Like, obviously 1010 ripped everything, right? But again, this is another chart where, like, from a weekly perspective, it's not going to take much. This is actually big fucking bundled Garbonza bullshit anyway. But from a weekly perspective, if we start to turn this around, it'll pick up momentum really quickly. And this is what I mean. Like, I think a lot of people are sort of too bearish. And I've always said, like, as we run the market up hot, you want to get less bullish, right? And you want to manage your risk a bit better up here, yeah? And equally, the same is true as we run it down turbo. Like, I want to get less bearish kind of as we go further down, yeah? Because the chances of this being the Pico top or whatever, here you think, it's just a pullback. Here you think, okay, this is pretty deep. Here you think, okay, this is pretty shit. Here you think, it's a bear market. We're fucked. It's all over. Oh my God, I can't handle this. Crypto's never coming back. Whereas in reality, it might just do this. It might just do that forever, yeah? Because it's found fair value or whatever. But, I think it it pays to be a little bit more. And I'm not saying that this is the bottom yet, but you can clearly see the bearish momentum peaked on the 10th of the 10th, as you would fucking imagine, right? That was pretty brutal. But anyway, yeah, we're getting consistent higher lows on RSI, and the dips are getting a lot more shallow. So, you know, it makes sense to think that actually that the momentum to the downside is weakening, and then that should turn. And when that turns, you get a rotation. Whether that rotation is this, or this, you know, or something really pish like this, who knows? But yeah, I don't think it looks particularly bad. Like, I don't want to blind bid this, yeah? And this is the thing, is I don't try and catch a falling knife. Like, that's not my play style at all. That's not the trades I want to take. I want to see it start running. But even like now, you can justify, you could probably justify it if you saw it on relative strength. And start looking at like a flip of this previous consolidation. If you saw it on relative strength. But that's a big if, I don't think it would. Ah, J-Stocker 808. Yeah, it has held up really nice. It's not a, you know, it's good to have coins on your radar that you either want to long or you want to jump in. But yeah, it has held up pretty well considering everything. Like, this range has been really nice to play around. Like, every time it's dipped below, you know, it's basically held above, apart from this time and this time. Yeah, like it really respects this level. Really respects this level. And obviously like that, but that's just, I don't think you can really like count that in the price action of any charts, right? It's such a misnomer, such an oddity. Caught some XP long as well. Oh, that's a really, really good one. I'm in a group with a few traders, and one of whom, well, a couple of them who I don't really know actually, but they've been sharing their thoughts and stuff. And they caught the XBR rotation yesterday, and I dropped a meme in that group, which I will show you, because I am. This is how I bottom markets, apparently. This was like when it was like literally the bottom. I think I posted it like here. No, I don't think it was there, but yeah. Yeah. I think we might just leave that on the chart. Chat's more successful at catching falling knives than chicks. Trying to break out from a pretty long accumulation, yeah. Yeah, it's just every time I've longed this, right, I've got fucked. And the reason that I've got fucked is because it is a dog shit coin, to be blunt. You know, we had literally a day or two of like positive plasma price action as it went live. It broke out really, really nice, and then instantly fucking sold off, and then it was just literally, you know, bear market down only since. Yeah, it's been like literally brutal. I kind of see no reason for this to come back, right? So people who are longing it like this and going like, you know, I think it's going to do this, I think that's utter horseshit. I think this token is probably one that, you know, to Lucifer's question earlier, what goes to zero and does a matic? Like, if this chart looked good, then it would probably do it. But I don't think this chart's got a chance of doing it, because I think it just like slow bleeds. At best accumulates, at worst just does this. You know, you'll get paid to own it eventually. And I'm not bitter because I missed a decent rotation on it, right? It's already fucking killing itself and committing Hirikiri. But yeah, I don't see it. Do you know what I mean? I don't see how this, whatever it is, I don't even know what like the FDV and all that kind of stuff is at the moment. Coin market cap. Let's have a look. Yeah, 2.5 billion FDV. Still doing decent volume. Really decent volume, 500 mil, but yeah, I just don't see why it would run turbo. Yeah, all I've done is lose money on this coin, to be fair. Delete from the watch list. Yeah, yeah. What about Inge? Again, like, you know, is it double bottom? Yeah, looks like it, doesn't it? It's just a bit shit. Yeah, I do. I hope it runs for you, don't get me wrong, but, you know. If you were longing out that breakout there, great. For like here, it's just a bit meh. Bit meh. But then there's a lot of coins like that, right? I actually think I have got Inge on here, but maybe not. Yeah, I sincerely doubt it's going to show up on here. BCH. I was talking about BCH the other day. I was holding up okay, I suppose. Yeah, so look, if you look at this rotation, then yeah, that should give you some confidence for being long. If you are long from the double bottom. But it's not like, it's not a major outlier, right? It's not like it's doing this while everything's kind of dying. My trick for coins like SBA, simply mark the minus 70, minus 75, minus 80, minus 85 fibs from all-time high to 0. And you start to slowly deploy a little bit from minus 70%. Right now it's at minus 85%. Jeez. So I can't blind buy levels anymore. I'm just such a pussy. Unless I think I've got a really good thesis for said coin. Is Bert breaking out? Kind of. Kind of. You know, and this is what I mean, like, I think part of the tail end of risk, i.e. the fucking, you know, high risk meme coins that do fuck all other than hopefully price go up, is it's nice to see some of them bounce, like Useless, like Bert, like SPX. You know, it's really nice to see them start running. I'd love to think that it's the start of a big run. I'm not convinced it is. But, you know, I think unless Bitcoin really starts shifting gears in terms of structure, which I've got no reason to believe it's going to just yet. Like I said, just from a pure system perspective, I'd like to think and hope and pray and fingers crossed and all that actually we're going to start running it up turbo. But yeah, don't know. Nothing in my system says that we're going to. Check Meteora. Yeah, quite a few of my friends longed Meteora actually. And I've done really well out of it. Metis. Interesting. Stick on it even though it's buy bit. What's this it? That can't be it. My bro is really trying to show the Stark bag. I think we did Stark, mate. I mean, if this is it, it's pretty bonza beans. Like, high time frame pivot, sold off, looking weak compared to a relatively strong market. Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in this. Just, yeah. I want along strong coins. I want along strong stuff. Maybe not illiquid strong stuff like that. But yeah, give me some strength. Even Asta looking a bit like it's stalling out now. Just a bit annoying. Give me another MYX. Does anyone know the next MYX? I actually fucking seeded this shit. Just gone well on it. Azora could be near a bottom, yeah. Yeah, right. So how would you trade this then? I'm gonna ask you guys. How'd you trade this? Well, I have a slurp of water. Did someone say crypto? But we just came here for Charlie's tunes. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know, you don't trade Zora. Long Zora. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then go for it. I mean, I wouldn't personally, not here. I wouldn't short it either. Like, and a lot of people don't like it when you say this. Like, I just wait. Like, there's just no reason to get involved in it down here, I don't think. If you believe that the market is going to run it back to like these highs, let's say, like, I would just argue, and perhaps it's just petulant pessimist in me, that this is too early. That this is downtrend in price action, in a very strong downtrend, and really until you change structure, it's really not that interesting. You know, does it look like a bottom? Yeah. Yeah, it does. It looks like it. There should be, you know, a decent amount of support across the lows. That there should be, you know, a nice little reclaim of the former lows down here. But it's pretty meh, isn't it? So yeah, it's kind of my view on it. Same with like lots of stuff. Yeah, you can literally flick through all these charts and just go, where's the strength? Like, show me the strength. Show me why I should long this. You know, then you load up something like Zach on the same 12-hour basis, and all you can see is a series of high lows, right? Yeah, okay, you can see momentum's died a bit off this high. You can see that it's struggling a little bit more now, but principally, this chart versus Zora chart, it's just no contest, is there? It looks like I just inverted the Zach chart, to be honest. Looks like I literally flicked invert. Look at it. It's mental. Which is why you'll only see me talking about like the same, normally 5 or 6 coins in a week, right? I won't tend to flip around them too much. I really wish Useless was a bit more liquid. I'm not gonna lie. Because the beer on Useless is so good. Yeah, there you go. That's why I don't trade in like a trend following manner. You know, look at these highs here. And maybe if we get a rotation now, it becomes a bit easier, right? Because you've got essentially invalidation in this form of consolidation. But I think the market looks a bit weak. Again, not taking this. If we can get a little bit of a, yeah, this just looks like it's rounding off in terms of momentum. I'm gonna cascade down a bit. Then if you get the cascade and a reclaim afterwards on relative strength, that's when you start dropping it like it's hot. But we'll see. Thoughts on Pump? I really like Pump, and I've talked about Pump quite a lot, and I feel like it's a massive wasted opportunity for the founders, but they've obviously printed billions out of it, so I doubt they really give a fuck. But you know, mass revenue generation, they've got hundreds of millions in their treasury, buying back the token, you know, that's why I think like those kind of narratives sell in boring bear markets or boring risk-off conditions. And I think that's, pretty much where we find ourselves. Unless we really do start seeing stuff like these memes continue and we get that real risk on kind of dead cat bounce. But yeah, I mean, it's just not that interesting to me until we reclaim here. And even, I guess, the further we go down, the less relevant this level is, because if we've gone here, let's say from down here, that's like a 2x. And am I really interested in like, oh yeah, it's up 2x. I'm finally interested in taking a position. Not really. I mean, we're going to have to sort of move down our thought processes and be like, well, maybe if we get the big sell-off down here and then we get a reclaim down here, that's when we go. But yeah, at the minute, it's really not looking particularly great. Charlie, when was the last time I hit 100x? I don't fucking know. I guess I technically hit it on some of my Burt bag. I don't really play for 100x anymore though, so it's not that fair to judge me on it, because I'm not at the point where I need 100x. I'd love 100x, please don't get me wrong. If someone said, oh, stick some money in here and it's gonna 100x, I'd absolutely fucking love that. But that was my first couple of cycles where I was much more like, I needed to hit a banger or two because I was undercapitalized. I'm not in that situation now. I'm in a much more comfy situation, shall we say. So, yeah. I haven't got time for, like, trying to go through the trenches. And I think the trenches are pretty dog shit these days, right? When was the last time you hit 100x, brother? Mentioning it likes to scam pump? Yeah, it does. I covered useless or SPX? Yeah, I haven't covered SPX. I covered useless. I said useless looks pretty fucking good, to be honest, just in terms of like a rotational play. But we literally just sort of chatted through this. If I was looking at long in useless now, this is literally what I'd want to see, like a strong reaction to pretty weak reaction on relative strength. Fine. Let's go to my. I've asked TradingView to get rid of, or to give me a tool to be able to get rid of all the brushes quickly, because this is just fucking stupid, isn't it? Like, or click all the brushes, click delete, or find them and select them all individually. Nah, bruv, come on. Yeah, I mean, this is where you'd want to see some strength, in my opinion. You've had this form of consolidation, and you might not necessarily see it, right? It's had a pretty fucking good day, let's be honest. Like, let's not try and push our luck. Had a nice rotation here to the upside. Now, downward rotation. If we can confirm that it doesn't want to close in this value area, then we should be able to get a decent rotation off it. And I think the next area that we're really looking at, any form of like resistance, will be this. It'll be the sort of 14.14 level, which previously was like mass sort of high time frame support, across like these lows basically. But it's not what you want to see. You want to see it up here. You want to see it be one of the stronger ones. So it's probably not going to have a great rotation. And if obviously that changes, you can change your bias. You can adapt to whatever the market is going to tell you. But yeah, that's how I typically think of like these rotational plays, right? You establish whether you want to long or short it. We're going to say we want to long it, but we only want to long it when we've broken out of the form of consolidation, because it shows that it doesn't want to just consolidate in there and eventually go down to the low and just retrace a large part of the move, yeah? It shows it wants to break out and that there's the demand in this region. If there's good demand, then there should be a good chance of follow through. And if that happens, then it should appear on relative strength. Now, sadly for us, and this like live example is it's not really showing any relative strength. It's actually showing relative weakness, which is really, really bad. So it just means that like you have a nice trade theory and a nice trade setup in your mind, but in terms of execution and being able to action that, I can't action that at this point in time because you've got SPX, which is looking really strong. So you've still got a bit of meme risk, but useless is looking, well, useless as the name kind of implies. Hopefully UniPCS will just like tweet something now and just go useless, going to $1 billion or something, and then it'll reverse, and you'll get that relative strength back. Yeah. But yeah, it does look good from a price action perspective as well. Again, not shilling useless, not in a position useless or anything like that, but I do like useless just as a risk barometer for the rest of the market. I haven't looked at the SPX chart in fucking ages, like the actual meme coin SPX. You know, once again, it's very similar to useless in terms of like absolutely massacred since the all-time high, 80% down. Yeah, how long will this sustained pump, or how long will this pump sustain for? I've got absolutely no idea. It looks pretty like bottomed just from a pure price action perspective, but again, the big thing for me is that like the market's willingness to keep risk on with utter garbage, and I'm not convinced it lasts long. I do think it lasts a few days. I do think for the rest of this week we probably get some decent trading conditions on rotations as people go. Like, you know, mentally everyone's like, hey, the bottom's in on my bags. It's fucking long. Oh my god, it isn't long enough. Oh my god, it isn't long enough. And then it'll just do this and fucking round trip everything on people. Unless Bitcoin is absolutely steaming, and yeah, I think a lot of it will depend on Nvidia earnings. I think that's a lot of what the markets are de-risking, to be honest. Thanks, Joey. I'm about to play football. Catch the rest later. Enjoy, brother. And it wasn't ever the stream start. Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. Electronium, may have a scam pump. A few times if Bitcoin can hold. Ooh, I like the name. You might have to give me the ticker. Good morning, Lily. Uranium buy and forget. Yeah, just don't store it. Anywhere near you. Yeah, I mean, I know nothing about uranium, but structurally it looks like a, you know, a higher low. But I don't trade stocks, and I certainly don't trade off just the basis of, it's got a higher low on it, let's go. But I'm having a good day, Lily, mate. Yeah, it's been decent. Never nuke uranium chart. Yeah. I think there's I think there is still a lot of opportunity on some of these rotations, but I do think a lot of them are just rotations and not, you know, generational entries. And I can be absolutely wrong about that. Yeah, I can. Yeah, we talked about the like useless setup and stuff. It might run. I might wake up tomorrow and useless is up like 50%, but I just don't feel like the environment is right for that. And I think if we do get, oh yeah, this was a classic troll, wasn't it? You know, if we do get something like this playing out, straight to $1 million of Bitcoin, then we're all Gucci. You can all come around for dinner. Just got here, are we going to zero? Entry TP stop loss, thank you. Hello, Eric. We haven't really done much in terms of like live trades, and it's because I'm quite late, I think, to this rotation, right? Like the only trade idea I've really put out, I've talked about a couple of trades I've taken, talked about useless and how I think that that's probably, you know, oh, it's actually starting to move. Yeah, that's probably a decent rotation if you're not playing with big size, you know, worth the volatility and worth the illiquidity. Playing something like this, I think. What else? There's not like huge amounts of fundamental stuff that I'm really like super bullish on. A lot of people have been like posting Litecoin charts and stuff, which blows my mind. I assume there's like an OTC round going or something. Or even shit like Trump, you know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I pissed about with Kaito, was it yesterday? But again, that's a liquid fucking turbo dog shit. I don't know, I'm just waiting for the market to kind of come to me in terms of rotations. Like, I did think XVG would have a decent run, but that's not really done a lot. And Asta is one of the only, like, big spot, well, it's perp, but like big positions that I'm in terms of trying to go for like a rotation. I might even try and compound it, yeah. I might even chuck a bit more on and essentially treat this as like, you know, a fresh entry and just take a second trade here, because when something's got relative strength and it's got huge fundamentals backing it up, then it becomes quite, you know, it'll stay in play for days if the market doesn't die. So it's almost like just worth staying focused on whatever is trending. And we saw that with Zek, right? Like everyone was like, whoa, Zek at like $200, this is fucking nuts. You know, fast forward 2.5 weeks, it's at 750. Like everyone's going, fuck me, how's that at 750? This fucking, you know, utter garbanzo beans. But, you know, lo and behold, it's there. So yeah, if we get the push on Asta now, I'll clip some more in and we'll fucking go for it, shall we? But yeah, we are getting a nice little rotation, I can see. There you go, useless ripping. There you go, it's probably all you boys in chat, isn't it? There you go. Legends. But you see what I mean? This is what I spend my days doing. Like, again, you've got that like confirmation of the kind of rejection from the previous value area. You know, that's a little rotation. Thoughts on ETH and ETH BTC? Yeah, let's go for it. I haven't really talked about ETH beneath BTC. So yeah, let me go back and actually give a like decent-ish macro kind of view of things, yeah? We're in a strong downtrend, undeniable. Like, I personally think that we are quite into this downtrend, and you know, we are massively oversold. That doesn't mean shit, it can still fucking sell off more, but I'm definitely leaning towards short-term relief, right? And that's short-term relief, not massive trend reversal. To get me to the point of massive trend reversal, we'd need to see a little bit of consolidation, we'd need to see a little bit of change in structure, etc. We'd need to start seeing a little bit of strength, not just this relentless selling, because until we really break this downtrend, I'm just going to kind of keep with the mindset that Bitcoin's going to keep making things difficult, and I don't really want to swing anything, yeah? And by the time that this does this and changes, it might be too late for me to swing some of the majorly good bags, but hopefully I'd have rotated well into them like Asta, yeah? And we talked about Asta, we talked about the entry trigger, we talked about, you know, compounding on a breakout, all that kind of stuff, yeah? So, good. From an ETH perspective, I still think ETH looks like utter fucking hot garbage. Same applies in terms of, I want to see a change in structure. I think that actually this is quite, you know, aggressive in terms of the RSI, in terms of how sort of oversold it is. But does that mean that it's, you know, the bottom? Absolutely fucking not. It just means that you probably don't want to be shorting down here, and you probably don't want to be longing up here, like at this exact point, yeah? If setups appear, then yeah, you can take along with like a small invalidation, but you know, that's my general thesis on a high time frame, you know, RSI, yeah? You don't necessarily want to be long in this unless you've got a really good thesis, and actually you're kind of breaking out of a consolidation, because you certainly don't want to be swing long in this, yeah? You want to be like, right, I'm finally going to buy my bag here, and yeah, okay, it goes up, but you know, not after a decent pullback first. So same applies for down here, yeah? Hence my preference for longs. And then you look at like Sol. Sol's very similar, but actually a bit stronger. So if you look at Sol ETH, Sol ETH's starting to show a bit of strength, but still not much. ETH BTC, you know, I talked to XO about this. He's like, it's looking really, really good. You know, not to misquote him, but you know, it's actually looking pretty solid in terms of like this performance. And again, if we start breaking out on that, then yeah, we can get super excited about alts. We can maybe swing things for a bit longer and not be as much of a you know, cheap hooker strategy and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's too early to get super excited about it, right? That's just my, and I'm pretty fucking boring anyway, right? So I don't get super excited about it anymore. I'm not going to be the cunt that's sat here telling you all the bull market's coming in tomorrow. Just stick it out, guys. You're going to get 5 billion% gains. You know, much harder now than it ever was. And also, you know, I think this is a trader's market still at the moment. I mean, incredible opportunities. My Asta bag's up like 10% in a day. Like 10 fucking percent. You know, that is mental. Mental. And then if we compound it, you know, we run it turbo. Do you have a different strategy for news days? Not really. I tend to avoid news days in terms of, like, actually no, I don't avoid news days. That's an absolute lie. But I tend to avoid being like heavily placed in news days, so I wouldn't necessarily be massively, you know, spot long or short or something like that, especially, you know, with the market positioned as it is. What I tend to do is, you know, I'll live trade them and I'll just be in and out of rotations. So particularly like when old man Powell was speaking, you know, back in like 2023, when we were always waiting for news of things, and actually those days when he was speaking were probably the only days we got volatility. So, you know, I was like a fucking crack addict, like, please give me some vol, I don't care which side it is, I'll just take anything, like, please Daddy Powell, fucking shove it in me, like, just give me that 1%, that sweet, succulent 1% move. It's okay, Charlie, none of us are rich. Nah, we're all rich in the soul, my brother. Money doesn't give you what you think it does. It just gives you different problems, or make sure it takes away some problems. And, yeah. The real wealth is time and health and family and friends and all that kind of stuff. But anyway. Shit might be. If it's old news and I missed it, but congrats on the partnership with Breakout and noticed it. Ah, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, they reached out to me, actually. And, yeah, I thought it was a good partnership because, to be fair, this is a trader's environment, you know. I've ran up my perps account. I think I'm finally back at where I was. Actually, no, I'm up. I'm up like 140%, I think, ish, in 2 weeks. So, you know, well, I keep posting it because I think over time, a lot of people have been like, "Oh, you're a bit of a meme lord," and it's like, actually, you know, I probably need to remind people that I'm a decent trader and take that aspect of social media a little bit more seriously. Because all these people who got fucking slaughtered and are dog shit traders got invited to, you know, all this like trading competition, didn't they? The synthetics one, and like 90% of them are liquidated. And it's like, I get the fact that you know, you need to push it, but my god, my trading style is pushing it. You know, I don't get invited to any of these. I think it's because people just, you know, forget, or I've pissed people off over the years, but I try not to piss people off, so yeah, we'll see. You want to have kids, and for that you need money? Yeah, that's fair. But kids value your time. The real wealth is getting your music playlist. You can have my music playlist, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be my parting gift to you all. Great partnership, probably the only prop firm I consider trying. Kraken. It's great than Coinbase. Yeah, I mean, I cash out using Kraken. So, you know, when we're talking about like, you know, Breakout being a stream sponsor and the fact that they are backed, you know, that acquisition wouldn't happen if they were like a garbage, what do they call them? Like a bucket shop, that's it. You know, the guys behind it have been in fucking crypto for years and years and years. You know, I'm really good friends with a couple of them, a couple of the founders. Yeah, it's just, yeah. I don't want to sound like relentlessly shilling them, because it's like you know, it's kind of like, yeah. But you know, if you're gonna do prop if you're going to do prop trading, like, they are legit. They pay out. They've got proof of payouts. They've been acquired by like one of the biggest fucking brands in the world in crypto. You know, for, I assume, huge amounts of money. Like, that doesn't just happen. Doesn't just happen overnight. Great show. Everyone knows Main and Cred. Yeah, and Abe as well, you know. Like, Abe's a great trader. I mean, Abe fucking sends me to sleep when I hear his voice. I love him. I love taking the piss out of him, but fuck me, he can be a bit dull sometimes. But yeah, he's a very smart guy. Very, well, they're all smart, but yeah, Abe's very smart. And I mean, Cred's videos, like, how many of you in the chat like used to watch Cred's videos? Like, I watched all the Cred series. You know, his fucking hypertism, just like banging on about support resistance and just like 3 taps, best taps, and all this kind of stuff. Like, obviously, I clearly wasn't listening because I think it's, I don't think that's right. But, you know, the fact that he did all that for free was amazing. Who? Cred, Crypto Cred. Yeah, just stick him in YouTube. Yeah, his educational stuff's really clear. GradNXO. Yeah, I mean, GradNXO are part of a trading group called PNL Diffusio or something. I can never pronounce it. But PDF were like a group of some of the best traders on CT, like Glimmery, Cuban, and a load of others. So, you know, there's I think Main was in there as well. So there's like huge lore like behind all of these guys, like journeys in crypto and stuff. So yeah, if you're gonna buy an evaluation, use my code for a discount. Thank you very much. Love you. Yeah, genuinely, like, proud to be partnered with them. Yeah. You know him from Twitter? Yeah. Cred series best to start with. Yeah, it's a really good foundational, you know, into what support resistance is, and why I'm drawing lines here, why this is a range, why I'm drawing big pivots. Like, you can get all of that from Cred's YouTube, right? And yes, I know I've got a paid group, and I should probably be trying to steal your monies by siphoning you into there, yeah. But you know, you get a lot from people like Cred's education. You know, you don't get to watch it be performed in real time, and you don't get lots of live examples and stuff, and daily plans and all that kind of stuff, and indicators and VWAP stuff, and various order flow things that Magus does and Doc does and all that kind of stuff. But it's a really good foundation for learning, and it does bring you to a really good standard, I think. When does Paragon Black Friday end? I'm trying to get funds across to Coinbase, about a 24-hour delay. To be honest, it ends when I can be asked to end it. Ugh, which is probably never. Probably be there in 6 weeks if you try it. Because I'm a bit of a lazy bastard when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, yeah, there was one code, I think Doc did it when I was away, called Mojito or something, and we found out that was still going like last week. I was like, oh, probably fucking end that. Okay, so yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something cool. Alright, we've got 59 responses to this form. Jesus. Right, if you're in the stream, stick your stuff in there. What I'll do is I'll record like a live, I'll decide what I'm giving away, and then I'll do like a stream, but it'll be a private stream of like me just doing the, what's it called, the selection. It's not a selection, I'll stick into a random generator thing and just pick 3 people so that you kind of know you're not getting scamoozed. Or I can actually do it live. Not now, I need to set it up, and we'll do it later, and we'll just pick 3 people for like a trading view thing, a month of Paragon, and a breakout evaluation. We'll do those 3 things, yeah. But I'll give you guys like half an hour to respond, to stick your Twitter handle in there, and we'll do it off the back of that. I think that works. If anyone's actually got a better way of doing these kind of things, like live on stream, because this is the first time I've done it, then do let me know either in the comments or just DM me on Twitter. I will try and respond to you. I get like 100 chills a day from like fake accounts being like, hey, I'm from wherever. Click this link to schedule a meeting. I don't think you are. I'm from Tesla. Elon Musk wants to hire you. I'm not sure he does. But yeah, we'll see. What else then? Yeah, I'm looking like I've been holding my bag of anyone for fucking ages. There's privacy narrative, and it's, you know, I'm hoping it's gonna run with like the whole Zek privacy matter being in play, but currently, you know, it's not looking great. I'm not gonna lie. It's basically back at entry from this trade ideas perspective, and you know, similar to useless and stuff like that. When you start seeing strength in things like that, is really when you want to jump on board. Is anyone fucked? Yeah. It does look like trash. It looks like it's sat in a consolidation. But you know, these things change, right? This is a strong sell-off in line with the rest of the market. You know, I am not gonna just sit here and like do a whole lesson on strength and then say buy my bags please at the lows. But I will say when things start changing is when you start paying attention to things, yeah? So something like this would be back at trade entry and give the same trade idea. You know, because I essentially did the same thing way back here. What was it? I think it was like, it might have even been this one over here. Yeah, but I think it was actually more like that. But yeah, hopefully we've got a little bit of absorption down on these lows and we start running it back turbo soon. Any thoughts on Solana privacy coins, mate? Are you on about like Ghost and things like that? I got told about Ghost quite early, but I just, you know, completely faded it. Not really. I'm not really in that meta at the minute. So, you know, I do think that like privacy is going to be pretty, like it's going to continue to be pretty big, just in terms of a narrative. And I can't help but think that XVG pulls something like this off. So, you know, anyone remembers like the Pornhub partnership back in the day? You know, I think that this is pretty high on my radar. What else we got? Back one with useless. Yeah, pretty much fully round tripped. Lovely. You know, again, like one thing I'll just chat through this. Yeah, one thing I always like to do is look at like previous highs. And I say this in the group, but like previous highs often act as like support resistance because, you know, you kind of if you pull it, if you push above, you effectively take all the stops that are there, if there are any. And then if there's really not much fuel to fly higher, then it's usually GG on that rotation. You trade BCH at all? No. We talked about BCH quite a few times in the group, I think, but I've not pulled the trigger on it. I remember talking about it a few weeks ago and being like, unironically, BCH looks like the real Bitcoin. But I never traded it. Because it was just... Well, that would be why. There's one setup there, but I'm sure we had another setup. Maybe I was thinking of another coin. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't look too shabby in terms of if we can, like, flip former support. You know, it's currently, like, a really bad place to long. But if we can flip that and start running, that is, you know, potentially a simple reclaim. But yeah, look at Charlie trying along the highs again, along the Pico top of the markets. It always annoys me that people get so like upset that, you know, you try and long the tops, and the reason that like I get annoyed by it is I literally longed MYX in here somewhere. I logged on a Saturday And I basically caught all of this move, and it wasn't even like that. It was something fucking ridiculous like this. It was like a 30-hour trade or something dumb. I caught this. What was it? I caught that. I think that was it. The retest essentially. And we caught like this, yeah. I think it might have even been like, I don't know, whatever it was, but I caught the bulk of this move as a short version of it. And then obviously momentum stalled and we died. And then I was like, okay, well, we'll try the same again. We caught along up here, caught this consolidation, that run, and I think I got stopped on this one like there in that bit, but whatever. Yeah, it's still pretty nuts. And then I tried to long a breakout at the top, like up here. Yeah, I think it was like there or something. And then it's like one guy on Twitter like, hey, you fucking long the top, you dumb cunt. It's like, bruv. I mean, it's now down at like literally 0, right? Which is why we use stops, because this is an absolute manipulated garbanzo beans. But, you know, some incredible scam PA. Did you look into Litecoin, bro? I joined late. No, I'm not part of the OTC cabal that have been given Litecoin, I'm afraid. I don't know why everyone who shills Litecoin is a paid shill. Everyone. There's no way people are pulling this chart up and going, this looks fucking incredible. No fucking way. I mean, if they want to pay me and shill it, then I'll still say it looks like dog shit. I'll draw something like this and say, go buy it there. Or buy that. But, yeah. Don't know why it's all on the timeline. That's the only logical explanation I can give for people getting hyped about this, to be blunt. Didn't XRP look like this at one point? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's like a particularly like, you know, completely dead dog shit coin, but it's certainly not one that I'm like super hyped about, yeah? But bearing in mind my trading style is longing strength and playing rotations typically to the upside. So, you know, why would I long something that from a market structure perspective, you know, is, you know, locally on a 4-hour basis, you know, basically printing a lower high while other coins in the market are printing higher highs? Just doesn't make any sense. Hype's actually pretty good, just in terms of narrative, similar to Aster, etc. The problem that I've got with Hype is just that the price action just doesn't really support it. You know, do I think that it's a good spot buy and you'd probably be quite comfy holding it for a while and eventually it would run higher? Yeah, probably. Especially if it can really take market share, and that's the kind of thing I'd look at if I was really, you know, wanting to invest in something from a fundamental perspective. But yeah, it's not a good coin for me to trade on an intraday basis, so I'm not particularly interested in it. Unless it becomes a good coin to trade, in which case Spaghetti will tell me that, right? We went around with the PH partnership. I saw posts about it. Well, that's good. Coins like Ghost, Fog, Avicii, etc. Thanks for answering. Yeah, so Avicii is the only one that I really know about. I think Fog and Ghost are probably not what you think they are. But yeah, they'll probably be 0 in a short space of time. Avicii, on the other hand, I think is actually quite innovative. Again, I've got 0 of these bags, and my opinion is obviously pretty moot, because I don't own them, haven't looked into them massively. But yeah, it's like being able to spend your money as like a neobank and depositing crypto onto a bank card effectively, and being able to spend it without necessarily going through like a tax authority and stuff is, you know, pretty interesting if you're into that kind of thing. But I would advise you all to pay your taxes, and not scamooze the government, otherwise you will end up in jail. Obviously, nothing said in this stream constitutes financial or legal advice. Please consult a financial advisor. Don't be a dipshit. Thank you very much. Here you go. Here's like a really random. Because Glim had, an absolute fuck ton of money in their old treasury. This randomly, we're looking at this and we're going, it's up. I only found this because it's up 15% on the day. Yeah, but it's structurally, pretty strong, right? You've got this confluence of actually, if it can start gaining some momentum, then it could run. I know one of my friends, CRG, was pretty bullish on this at one point, so I might hit him up. But yeah, like, really nice reaction from the lows, nice candle. Again, I'm not saying I'm just gonna fucking buy some here, right? Like, I can't just ape in here, but it does look pretty decent. Walmart Cloud 2.0. Does Paragon works on the WAP platform, or do you guys use Discord? It's Discord, mate. So you sign up via WAP, you enter a discount code at the minute, and then you join a Discord server via that WAP. Did you get your second car for winter? No, I've been umming and ahhing and toying around with things, and then it does feel a bit stupid to get a midlife crisis car as winter is coming, because winter in the UK is an absolute bitch. What are your thoughts on USDT's dominance and Bitcoin Dom? Does that indicate anything in your opinion? It does, but a lot of it's quite inactionable, right? And I think, I was having this debate with someone the other day, I can't remember who it was. I think Spaghetti tells me more about the market than anything. I think a lot of people look to use old metrics for the market that used to be really good. But I think Spaghetti will always be good, right? I think Spaghetti will always be good because it just gives you such a clean and simple view of where the risk wants to flow. Now, Bitcoin dominance, how do I construct a trade off Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance is kind of going down. Okay, was that because Bitcoin's going down and alts are not going down as much? In which case, that's okay, but it's not really, insane from a long-only perspective. Well, why don't I just use this? This tells me where I want to be and what I want to be longing. So, okay, we go back to Spaghetti. Structurally, Bitcoin dominance has been in an uptrend for a long time, and if you were subscribed to old cycles, you would say that Bitcoin runs first, we get a load of liquidity out of Bitcoin, and then we run it into ETH, and Sol and all that kind of stuff. And then we run it into other projects, yeah, but they're like projects, and then we run it into, the dog shit memes, yeah, and then that's it, cycle over. Try not to kill yourself for 4 years and then come back to this point and then go back down. That was like old cycle mentality. Now, new cycle mentality, could be the same. I don't really know. I don't feel like it is. Note the word feel. We have strong outperformers. And if I look at Spaghetti, right, and I just go objectively back to, 2025, so the start of the year, we've had a handful of coins outperform Bitcoin, right? So even if Bitcoin dominance is kind of going down, you've got about 8 coins on this list that have massively outperformed Bitcoin. And yeah, some of them have run up and then come back down, like Bless or some dog shit. You probably had some other stuff down here, Kaito and whatever. But literally, Hype, Useless, Zek, Fartcoin, a few others have outperformed Bitcoin. Yeah. And I get you're saying, well, yeah, but Charlie, Bitcoin dominance going like that. It's like, yeah, but is it really going to be that much difference of Bitcoin dominance going down? I don't think so. I think even if you consider the last, however many days since Bitcoin dominance has started going down, even if you consider it since 1st of June, yeah. Let's go. Where are we? The 10th is probably going to make it look pretty mental anyway. there's still hardly any coins that are above BTC. And even if you think like, you know, since after the 10th of the 10th, hardly any are really up more than BTC is. You know, at least not enough to make it worth the risk of holding them. So get the 10th of the 10th out of the way. You know, Zek is probably the only one that's really up to the point of being worth holding. Now I know you can't go and Charlie, what do you mean? Like Phil's up 13, 14%. Yeah, but really, like, it's on dog shit liquidity. It could probably get rugged to zero overnight, whereas Bitcoin is probably not as likely to do that. Long stream today. Oh yeah, shit me, it's nearly 9 o'clock. Yeah, you guys better sign up for Breakout and use my code to thank me. I'm joking. Don't spend money you can't afford to lose. But if you do sign up at Breakout, I would appreciate you using my code. Which is in the bottom left of the screen, obviously. How old am I? I'm too old. I'm too old. Yeah. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 40s yet. But yeah. Sol's actually putting in a nice daily candle. You know, I think it's just so early to be trying to call a bottom when there's no, you know, I can do it for clout on Twitter and be like, bottom's in, boys. But realistically, I don't know. It's all strong downtrend. Thank you for answering, appreciate it. Well, that's what we're here for. And I'm at 5,840 subscribers. Let's go. If anyone isn't subbed, I would really appreciate you subbing. You don't have to watch my videos and do all that stuff. There are some old videos on altcoin rotations, but I'd like to hit 6k by the end of this year, which is a little thing, a little random goal for me, personally. You know, I can print money on my trading account, but I can't get to 6,000 subs on YouTube. Do you have any thoughts on launches like Monad? Yeah. It's just not going to do well. It's just not going to do well at this point in time. You know, I've got a lot of respect for the Monad team. They've given me one of those cards and stuff, so I shouldn't slag off my airdrop too much. I just think that they're probably launching into quite a saturated market. And, you know, it's downtrending and it's impossible to time like launches properly because you never really know what the risk appetite of the market is. And if you did, then you'd just be trading it. But yeah, I think not really the prime conditions for overhyped layer ones. And they are trying to do things differently and stuff, but you know, at the end of the day, it's a layer one. How many layer ones do we need? How many dexes do we need? How many casinos do we need? You know, there's really just the same thing being regurgitated as a different flavor. I'm not particularly excited. So, yeah. Again, I think it's what comes with being in the space for so long, you become quite cynical. Mid-30s still doing crypto is actually epic. Yeah, but I mean, why do people think it's like a super young person's game? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I will outtrade 90% of the shitters that are sent my way. You know, I probably won't, I would never be able to compete with them on chain because it's not my bag. I don't have good scanners, I don't have good connections or anything like that in that space. I just haven't really delved into that area as much as was probably lucrative to do so in 2023, 24. But you know, from a perps perspective, yeah, I can smash the onions into the ground. Thoughts on Say? Right, we'll do Say. 100x long on your YouTube. Start us 5,800 TP 6,000. Let's fucking go. 40 people have just unsubbed, mate. You're liquidated. Oh, I'm joking. Where are we going? Fuck me. It's been a long day. Say something. I'm giving up on you. There we go. Yeah, I mean... Again, it's one of those... Looks nice from a high time frame level that it should bounce from perspective. But if it was a good level, why is nobody fucking buying? You know, it could be a really nice rotational trade. So don't kind of think, oh, Charlie's fucking slagging off my bags and it's all going to zero and da-da-da-da. It's just at the moment, there's no trade opportunity for me here. It's weakness. It's lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Yeah, da-da-da-da. It's just, yeah. Like literally, if you said draw down trending PA, I'd draw that. Now, if you get some relative strength and a breakout of like this consolidation, and you can go for it, you can say, okay, well, there's 2 bits of confluence here, or 3 actually. One is, you know, breakout of this consolidation here, which is kind of a bit rangy, but it's not perfect. 2, bounce from high time frame support. 3, break of diagonal. And 4, if there is relative strength, then you could, you know, you could make a really good strong case for a decent breakout long. But you know, when you start looking at targets like this, you go, why would that happen? Then you probably need to say, well, why would say pump and not anything else? And I honestly don't know the answer to that question. You might get a decent rotation out of it though. Do fog? I mean, I imagine fog is just this. So that's that one. Sorry, mate. 2K stimmy checks pre-end of year, are we done? Yeah, maybe. So we've got a tutorial on Spaghetti I can learn from. So there's obviously a lot of stuff in the Paragon group, and I would be loath not to show that. But there is on my YouTube. Let me find it. It's a very old video, but a lot of the concepts in it are still very relevant. You're right, he tried to bamboozle me. I said you guys update a bunch of Paragon in case, but mine don't seem to have updated. What do I need to do? Ooh, you might need to take them off your chart and re-add them. And if that doesn't work, then chuck it in my DMs and I will try and get around to it. I've got to change a lot of people's memberships because people have bought like, what's it called? Like 1 month subscriptions and they're on 3 months and all this kind of stuff. So cool. First time finding the time to join. I have to say you're great to listen to, man. Keep it up. Ah, thank you, man. That's really kind. Like, genuinely, like, because sometimes I do this and, like, sometimes I get, like, 50 viewers and I'm like, ooh, should I even bother doing this anymore? Like, but there's been, like, 100. I think that maybe peaked at, like, 120 or 150 or something, which is good. If you haven't filled in the form, then fill it in. I'll do the giveaway thing in a bit. And like I said, I'll either stream it on here or I'll do, like, a random video or whatever, and I'll work it out. I'll work out how to do it as well. Again, if anyone's got any ideas, feel free to DM me. My DMs are generally open. If I do ignore you, please feel free to try again on a different day. It might just be like the time of day and stuff. I do genuinely try and respond to DMs, especially if it's decent questions and not just, hello, can I have free money, please? Because no, you cannot, is the short answer. But yeah, I appreciate everyone being here. I'll be on at the same time next week if you are around. I think the market's really good for trading. I think there's a lot of rotational opportunity. I think we've been through a lot of kind of setups and ideas. I think we're kind of at the end of this rotation. Excuse me. This rotational a little bit. But yeah, Asta should be very high on your radar. Potentially stuff like Useless and you know, memes if they can actually catch a bit of a bid. But like, yeah, Farcoin compared to Useless is just no comparison. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'll love you and leave you, and I'll see you next week. Au revoir. Might have to re-enter Paragon. Loved your content, but Mag Studies fried my brain last I tried. Yeah, just ask questions, man. As I always say to people, if you're in the Paragon, you know, you're paying to be there, make the most of our time. Like, there's no such thing as a stupid question, and if you've got that question, it probably means that our education is pointed in such a way that, you know, it doesn't make sense to you, because you might have a slightly different brain than the way our autistic brains are wired. So, yeah, it means we can go back and freshen our education up, or it means we can, you know, get rid of some confusion in your brain. And yeah, if any of you want to sign up to Breakout, I'll be giving one of these away. But yeah, use the code X7, whatever it is, in the bottom left. Make it a little bit bigger because my eyes are fucking terrible. I'm old now. X78837, and you get a discount at checkout and all that kind of wonderful stuff. Yeah, that's it. Love you and leave you. Au revoir. And Jake, I will send you that $1,000 straight after the stream. JK. See ya.